Hello. How's everybody doing? It's been a long time since I've done a live. So, anyway, what shall we talk about? So, I thought we should talk about the Ace of Spades, since that's what today is, February 11th. And I'm making it relevant for myself because, according to my chart this year, it is my ascending Mars card. I'm no longer in my Mars period, but it definitely, the ascending line is something that you find yourself doing when you're feeling really good, when you're like confident and moving forward. And it can feel a little challenging if you're not. And I've been really up and down, and I think I felt when we broke through to Jupiter direct, something shifted for me on that day. And a certain amount of things are definitely just flowing forward right now. So if anybody knows what's going on astrologically, and particularly what other good things we can anticipate in the near future in terms of planets going direct or whatever, that would be welcome news. So anyway, let's talk about the Ace of Spades. I'm also going to be doing personal readings, like if you want me to draw a card for something for you. You don't have to tell me what your question is, but hold it in your mind while I'm drawing you a card. And we can also talk about your age and the cards that are up for you. Pretty much the sky is the limit. We can talk about anything you want. So that's why I just did Q&A. I just had to throw in some other content so that before I get people on here, I have something to talk about. So Ace of Spades. So I have been realizing and saying quite a bit that the spade of any suit seems to have a kind of realized energy about what the other cards of that number are supposed to be figuring out. And what I know about the Ace of Spades people and putting it together with what the card means when it shows up for you, it is the number one has a seeking energy. It's like a negative ion that wants something. It represents a seed of desire and, yes, a new beginning. And very often those two things go together. So if you have an ace in your current period and all you feel is the lack of something, that's good, because that is a seed energy that creates something else. When I had two aces in a period years and years ago, this was, gosh, like 15 years ago or 16, I had two aces and I didn't even look at my cards, but I was really prompted to do a manifesting exercise, to just completely invent and create a complete new manifesting exercise. And I didn't have a job at the time, so I made it my job to just go to the coffee shop, read this book by Laura Day called, she wrote something like Ordinary Intuition or something, really gifted person. I see all those hearts. Thank you. But she wrote a book called The Circle, I think. Anyway, I drew a circle and then I wrote my intention in it, and then I would write future stories about how these things would unfold. And it is amazing how much stuff unfolded during that period. So if you have an ace right now and you're feeling kind of empty or frustrated, just know that if you turn toward desire and you ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want to manifest and create? Especially in accordance with whatever suit your ace is. And if you move in that direction, it's a very powerful manifesting energy. So pairing that with a person who is the Ace of Spades, the realized energy of desire, I think, has something to do with knowing who you are, having a really clear sense of personal definition. I am worthy to want what I want. I know what I want. It's okay that other people don't want this. I don't care what other people think I should want. This is where I'm at, and I am moving forward and creating my life and myself from this very self-defined place. So that's usually how I find the Ace of Spades, is they're pretty self-defined people, independent. They don't seem to carry the kind of insecurity or self-doubt that if you're a person that does carry that, especially if you're an odd card, It's like constant self-censure or, how am I doing or what's going on? It's like they just don't relate to that. They're just like, I am. I'm here. What's going on? So my dog is very much that way, who is the three of hearts. So her karma card is the ace of hearts, and she just like shows up. So that's what the Ace of Spades is asking us to do, is to show up. So in terms of it being the unveiling of secrets or mysteries, maybe if we take it back to the self, that's like the unveiling of personal, like the unveiling of who I am. What am I about? So what does it mean when it shows up in your chart in the most pragmatic way? It's likely that you will start a new physical endeavor of some kind. Now, how you feel on the day of the Ace of Spades, there's tons and tons of variables, but it may activate where that card shows up in your hand, if it does. So it's my ascending Venus card. And so when I'm feeling really good, I will want to start something new, physically something new, just like as a general life theme, because that's in my life hand. So I have a generally positive feeling about it. And I'm doing this today. So that's great. I'm getting back on the horse, and my energy isn't super sparkly and happy today. Just kind of been up and down, and the weather's all just kind of bleak and cold. It's gone back to cold. So we had the sounds of spring and the warmth and the melting snow and the smell of earth for the last few days. And now it's just like, it's winter again. So anyway, are there any questions that I can answer? I think what I'm going to do now is just throw a couple of cards for whoever is or will be watching this. So go ahead and form a question in your mind that has, well, it can be about anything, right? Because the cards are able to kind of distill everybody's questions and, bring something meaningful out of that. It's a vibratory field. So go ahead and put a question in there. I've got mine. It's pretty general. Okay, so here we go. And I'll throw 5 cards. I don't know why. That's just my intuition. Bottom of the deck, 2 of spades. That's what I have in my ascending period right now. So this is about friendship, connection, relationship, feeling like you're really with yourself in whatever you're moving forward with. So first we get the King of Clubs. So Kathy, you'd love a card. Good. You're the 6 of Clubs, 8 of Diamonds. Oh, thank you. It's good to be back. Okay, so I'll do this really quick and then I will draw a card for you. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, so the words I'm getting for this is you are the master of your own situation. You have the knowledge that you need, especially being in the first position, which would be kind of analogous to Mercury. 10 of Spades, what I'm hearing is that you have everything you need in terms of physical resources to move forward and be successful. 8 of these are all even cards. This is a very positive, powerful reading. The 8 of Hearts is confidence and abundance of emotional energy. 4 of Spades is security or something about a house. I'm hearing this is the challenge card for whoever might be looking. So how can you make yourself feel really safe and grounded in your physical environment? 10 of Diamonds, a lot of opportunities, money on the way. So, wow, really good reading for people's questions. My question was, how is it going to be in the next couple of days, the immediate future? So I guess things are going to be really good. Okay, Kathy wants a card. I just did a relationship reading, email cosmic connection reading for a 6 of Clubs. So really got that 6 of Clubs energy going on in my head. So maybe I'll pull out some of the new insights I got about the 6 of Clubs while I was reading for her. So you get the 8 of Spades. So man, a real spade day. So this is a card of physical strength. And what I'm getting about this for you is that it's very good for you to be very grounded in your physical body right now. So, like paying attention to yoga, exercise, weight training, something that is going to give you a sense of being really grounded and strong in your body. Now, this is your karma card. So, what that means is here is the Six of Clubs sitting right here in this intersection of horizontal Neptune and vertical Saturn. So if we look in that same position over here, we see the Eight of Spades. So Six of Clubs inherently have access to that physical strength. In fact, a lot of Six of Clubs I know, come to think of it, are pretty physically strong, or confident, or they have control issues, or there's kind of a bully energy there, or they're looking for that energy in particular. It's a vibration that's really present for you your whole life. And so I think this is asking you to look at that karmic relationship. I'm going to go ahead and use the word karma. What is your karma with strength? And it could also be authority, leadership, the confidence to like stand up and lead. Because you do have the King of Spades in your Saturn position. So one of your big challenges in life is to ask, what am I responsible for? What am I not responsible for? How can I lead? How can I just step into that very natural leadership position that my energy has? So anybody else? I'll go ahead and talk about some insights I had about the Six of Clubs when I was doing this reading, while I'm waiting for someone else to ask for a card. But what happened is this person was in a relationship with another Six of Clubs. And I was like, wow, oh, Kathy, you're so welcome. I was really blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, what would that be like? So, Kathy, or any other Six of Clubs here, do you know another Six of Clubs? It's a fairly common card, so it's likely that you do. What is it like when you're with them? Like, it would be a very mental relationship. Okay, what are the birthdays of the Six of Clubs? So that would be starting in March 30th, April 28th, May 26th, June 24th, July 22nd, August 20th, September 18th, October 16th, November 14th, and December 16th. Oh, interesting. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Green Knight. I do, and I wondered about that. I met a Six of Clubs Virgo. I was doing the reading for a Six of Clubs with the Six of Spades planetary ruler. They were a Gemini, but same planetary ruler. And I think that there would be a likelihood that, because Six of Clubs are kind of like a bucket of contrasts or even contradictions, like they have a real lazy bone in their body, but they're also very dedicated, hardworking people. They're very, they're like a rebel, but they're also rule followers. So I'm thinking that when you're with them, you would tend to hold one voice of this pairing opposite that you have, and they would hold the other one, and it would kind of give you guys an opportunity to hold those voices. And being aware that you're doing that might really, if you're doing it consciously, you could be like, okay, let's switch. Now you hold the voice for being lazy, and I'll hold the voice for being busy. Mary Suzanne Garvey, I have a Nine of Spades in my displacement this year, and it's a bit challenging. Could it actually be a good thing? I'm a Four of Hearts and a Six of Clubs. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and I know Ace of Spades of that same birthday, Green Knight. That'll be really interesting to look at that. Okay, so Mary, the displacement, I think of the displacement as like this, the North Node, the thing that's uncomfortable that you're trying to figure out, but I'm going to show you a new thing to look at. So if you have Nine of Spades displacement, what Robert Camp says is that the Nine of Spades, okay, I'm a little confused about this, but he'll use the position in the mundane spread. So if your card is sitting in this position and that's how he's interpreting it, I would encourage you to look at who owns that real estate, which is the King of Hearts. How could the King of Hearts be a displacement card? A call to emotional maturity and graciousness and seeing the bigger picture and really taking responsibility for your emotions. That would be one interpretation. Okay, I can figure this out really quick what his environment and displacement would be. Okay, so let's look at age 58 for the Queen of Hearts. He's saying their displacement is the Ace of Diamonds, which would be, yeah, where their card is sitting. That was it. So the King of Hearts is a displacement energy that I would encourage you to look at. So typically the meaning of the Nine of Spades would be a completion, a harvest, an ending of some kind. And more often than not, it's not about death. It's about what I'm hearing is manifestation, coming to a completion that is much needed, much desired. It the most basic meaning is some kind of completion in the physical realm. And what I'm getting is that it's a very gentle, long, slow process for you. So, yes, it could actually be a very good thing. Okay, so I know Green Knight says, I know three Ace of Spades women that were all born March 9th. I think that's right. So they have a planetary ruler of the Two of Hearts and a decant ruler of the Three of Diamonds. They are all caught up into materialism and don't see their mystic, or they're so mystic it's all about their materialism. That is so interesting. That is the bifurcation that I've seen with the Ace of Spades as well, is that they fall into one of two camps. You're welcome, Mary. I hope that was helpful. Oh, I like that. Um, what I find is that they're either very into the material world and almost to the exclusion of the spiritual realm and the whole mystical side, or they're very much aware of the mystical realm and they're kind of like an advanced student in that realm. My life coach for years had that birthday, and we had a really weird falling out after a while, and now it's like, ooh, I just kind of hope I'm not going to see her when I go out into town. It's so strange, but it's like she was the poster child for that Ace of Spades energy that really encouraged me to just grasp my own confidence and strength. But anyway, yeah, and we had a very karmic relationship because of the Two of Hearts. I'm a Seven of Diamonds, so it was a circle of seven. I'm sure a karmic interaction completion that it had to be. But yeah, that's kind of a weird thing about the Ace of Spades. That's kind of wild that all three of them, in your case, are, despite the fact that they're Pisces, tend to be more focused in the material realm. Oh, my husband just got home, so it might get a little noisy and chaotic. Would anybody else like a card? I can do another quick reading for all of us. Okay, if you have a question and you just don't want to go public, this is for you. Six of Clubs. I think we're going to have a nexus around the Six of Clubs today. So the Six of Clubs, this is kind of an affirmation. Hi, I'm actually doing a live. This is an affirmation that the path is clear and easy and things will be pretty pragmatic, that there is a sense of this needs to happen, this is in the plan. You don't have to force anything, you don't have to figure anything out. It's just going to go along and happen the way it's supposed to happen. So nice relief energy around this card. So yeah, that's what a six means when it shows up is, Robert Camp is very fond of the word karma, and I think that it had its day, and I think that it's fading out, owing to us just, ascending and evolving into a higher plane. So I would say that it has more to do with the agreements that you've made before you got here to just, I'm going to do this thing. It's appointed. I'm 5 of spades, of course, 9 of clubs, Jack of hearts. Thank you, Green Knight, for that reminder. I do tend to forget. Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with, but sometimes I do remember what your cards are. I was going to talk about something there. I got an inspiration from Spirit to start talking about a plan that I've got. I would very much like to start teaching the cards the way I've been doing it. I got a pair of women that were very interested in learning the cards. And what we did for a couple of weeks is like session 1, we just went through all the aces. Everything conceivable I had to teach on each one of aces. And it took 2 hours. And then the next week we did the 2s and then the 3s. And what's really fun is that the session that we have, the class that we have, is very much infused by, okay, Green Knight, it's very much infused by the energy of that number. So like the 3, when we were doing the 3s, it was just all ADD all over the map, and it was very dynamic, really fun. And we had the 4s, we got it done in record time. It was just like boom, 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 very basic, very clear, in a box. So anyway, I'm open to a sliding scale on that too, like $30 to $60 for an hour session. And if I can get a couple of people in there, then it'll be cheaper for each person. But what's fun about it too is that it can become very personal. I'll give you a little mini reading every time we have a class, because you'll be like, I noticed I have a 6 in my whatever, and then we can just look into that. And, also, like if we're doing 2s and then you look at your spreads for this, for this year, and you have a 2 in such and such a place, or you have a 2 in your Mars life hand, then it gets more personal and relevant. So Green Knight wants a card. Okay, these popped out. 3 cards popped out. This is the first one. 3 of hearts. Brenda, what if 9 of spades is sitting in your house for your Clarify what house means. I'm not familiar with that term with the cards. Sitting in your house for your 7-year spread. Meaning in the place that your card sits in the spread. Okay, so Green Knight, what does this 3 of hearts mean? This is, I think because there are 3 cards, they're telling you this is about 3 people. Leave that there. The next card is the 7 of hearts. So there's some forgiveness, letting go of attachments, emotional attachments, trying to let go of expectations, like if there's somebody who's telling you how you should be living your life or what they think should matter to you. There needs to be some stretching, letting go, allowing. That's really the good word for this. Okay, your environment card, Brenda, that's helpful. The third card is the Jack of clubs. This is lighten up, try to find a sense of humor, be playful and humorous. And there's also a brilliance that comes with this card. Some intelligence could come into this. This could also be a dating around card, and just like really let go and get some non-attachment around that and be charming and romantic. I'm not sure which one of those it is for you. Okay, Brenda. I guess it would be my environment card. It's displacing your King of Diamonds. I think it would mean that there is a life, like this is a lifetime where I am going to complete a lot of karma and follow through. Wow, it's the second time I've used that word, karma. You're going to complete and finish some things. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be like, death or difficulty. It's more about completion. And so I have a 9 of spades in my hand. I'm a 7 of diamonds. So I have it in my Jupiter position. And I've got the 9 of clubs in my Mars. I'm also karma cards to the Nine of Hearts, which has the Nine of Diamonds in its Saturn. So I've got a lot of nines in my life hand. And what I've seen at this point in my life at 58 is that my whole life and certain periods have been very predominated. So we're looking at Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn periods. And if you're talking 13-year cycles, that's a big chunk. I have completed a shit pot of karma to the point that I feel sometimes a little unmoored, a little bored, because it was so focused into these super intense karmic relationships. It was mostly about men, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So completing this karma of this relationship I'm in now, which is wonderful. But the first 17 or so were really difficult. But I had a feeling of like, okay, done, done, done. So my sense of it is that this is a period when you're just going to be, and your guides are like, lighten up, take a kind of, there's an uplifted energy around all of this. It's an opportunity to complete some things. That's my take on it. I go into my Jupiter 7 of Diamonds period tomorrow on your birthday. Oh, okay. Right. So if looking at the 7-year spread, that you're going into a Jupiter year, if I'm guessing correctly, and it is the 7 of Diamonds. So that is about letting your uniqueness shine forth. Any issues you might have about money, any fear, any attachment, even like a religious, that's word is chosen, a religious sort of attachment to a belief system or ideas. You might get challenged that way too, because I can be like super rigid about certain things, and I've been able to let go kind of gracefully, but very gradually through the course of my life. And it's still a big challenge. If I have a super strong conviction about something, it's a bit more rigid than is pretty. It's like, oh, there I go again. But I'm a 7 of Diamonds. So that's the work, right? Is to kind of let go and get some non-attachment around some convictions. But the core meaning of that card that I so love, that I am a poster child for, is ask yourself the question, how do I feel like a round peg in a square hole? And how have I been feeling that as a liability? The 7 of Diamonds is a very Uranian card. I did figure that out at one point in the cards and why that was true. And now I can't remember. But, oh, it has something to do with the parallel. Like if you look at them, like here's the spread. It's all up like this. And if you look at, like, don't look at like planets and numbers, just look at the number. Okay, so it's the second card in, the second card down. And then you look at the opposite card, the second card in, the second, which would be like a mirror image reflection. There's something about that vibration for you that you're working with, that you are equally that vibration. That's how I figured this out, because this right here is Uranus. That's why maybe 7 of Diamonds work with, and also the King of Clubs, being very arrogant about what we think, very sure of it, or working on self-doubt around that. That's another King of Clubs thing. But anyway, so Uranus is all about being the round peg in the square hole, of being different, being unique. How are you an emissary for that particular energy? So being in a Jupiter year with that, it means that's your source of blessing. That's where money will come to you and through you to others. The more you claim your unique self, the better it's going to go. Riding the high side of the 7 of Diamonds could mean really unlocking the mysteries to that treasure chest of unlimited wealth. She said haltingly, because the 7 of Diamonds, that hasn't happened for her yet. Bobby Bujicic. Is that a Dutch name? I'm a 5 of Spades. We have another 5 of Spades. And 9 of Clubs is my Venus. I just had my 55th birthday. 9 of Clubs, you're welcome, Brenda. You're welcome. Sits in my Jupiter, Jupiter. Okay, so you just use this formula, did you? Yours would be the 9 of hearts. No, 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 it wouldn't. It would be the 2 of clubs. So just for kicks and grins, 5 of spades, since I have 2 of you here, you're 3 over and 2 down. We're just eliminating the crown spread for now. So that would be the 2 of clubs. How do you deal with fear, communication? Are you kind in how you communicate with yourself, with others? So, and it's the intersection of Uranus, Saturn. So look at that pairing and how that might be relevant for you, which would be the purpose of being unique, the destiny, that's Saturn energy. And Uranus is like find a new way. They're kind of contrasting energies, but anyway, I guess I'm looking to see if there's a question there, Bobby. Oh, you're welcome. I just had my 55th birthday. 9 of clubs sits in Jupiter, Jupiter. Okay, I think I'm on to what you're talking about. Oh, yes! Got it. Okay, so I just turned to the grid of 55. And the 9 of clubs is right there in the middle. Displacing, we could say 10 of diamonds or the Queen of clubs. How is the Queen of clubs? Because she's the one that owns that real estate. So how is coming into your wisdom kind of a thing? I was referring to my solar spread Neptune. Yeah. And there's your 5 of spades. Yes, I see what you're saying. Okay, so you just had your 55th birthday. You just had your birthday. So are you sort of curious about that? Okay, so you would be in the 5 of diamonds in the first 52 days here. So, and I would also suggest that you go the other way, what I call the ascending. My guides showed me this years ago, and I finally started taking it seriously, and it's phenomenal. So because we're leaving the Kali Yuga and we're ascending more into our potential, this is why it's relevant. So take this grid and just go to the right and up instead of just the left and down. And then these 2 cards will have a conversation with each other. Okay, so Bobby's the 5 of spades. He's sitting in the intersection of horizontal Jupiter and vertical Venus. We think of the 10 of clubs sitting there, but it's the 4 of spades sits there, but it's the 10 of clubs real estate. So it's all about clubs for you this year. You have 5 of diamonds descending, but you have 6 of hearts ascending if you go in the other direction. So that 5 of diamonds and 6 of hearts are having a conversation inside you right now, and they will for the next month and a half. So it's going to be, do I need to change things up? What do I want? What should I want? That's what the 5 of diamonds stirs up. What should I be wanting? And it makes you kind of do a 360, take stock, reevaluate. Maybe you don't have to make a change, but you have to kind of reevaluate. And the 6 of hearts says, there's a relationship here that it's in my way. Those are the words I'm hearing, which might not mean that it's an obstacle. It's just in your way. There it is. Or the 6 of hearts could also be saying, okay, you want something different. What do you feel called to? What do you feel is your destiny? What have you agreed to do at this time? And figuring out the answer to that is always about going within and going deeper rather than panicking, looking around and being like, what do I not know? Instead of know, what do you know? It's already in there. So excellent question, excellent exploration that Bobby afforded us by telling us that he's 55. I would be curious about the 10 of clubs energy too for you. It is all those clubs could be like teaching, and the 10 of clubs is a paradigm shifter, like Joseph Campbell was the 10 of clubs. Some really big names that have really shifted the conversation or the belief system around something are 10 of clubs. Big ideas. So this could be also a year to just really take stock of what your big old belief system is. Yeah, it's going to be all about clubs, but sitting in that 10 of clubs, maybe it's like, what do I have to teach? What do I know? So you're going through a divorce and it's very amicable. Okay, so that 6 of hearts makes sense. That 9 of clubs is my partner's birth card. Wow. So, right, she's in your Venus, so it's easy. It's easy to think in terms of being amicable. And aren't you guys also, you're also Venus in your hand, right? You are her ascending Venus and she is your descending Venus. I'm so thankful for you that it's amicable. Mine were too, eventually, every single one of them. In fact, I ended up being painting partners with one of my exes, and we painted together, just contract painting for years and years, and made lots and lots of money. And my tendonitis said, you can't do that anymore. So, but anyway, yeah, we still spend all of our holidays together, all combined families. It is the coolest thing. It means your karma's done. And you can already get to the thank you. Thank you for what I was supposed to learn here. So when I do cosmic connection, best friends, just not marriage compatible. Yep. One of the coolest things that I do when I do, so I'm doing a little plug for myself, but I'm also just going to share this with you because it's so delightful to me. Whenever I do a cosmic connection reading, I have an opportunity so I get both birthdays and just like a one word basic nature of the relationship. So like if it's your child, I'm not like reading it like it's your partner or something. But almost every single time, the higher self, no matter how distressing that relationship might be, the higher selves show me themselves. And there is always love and nothing but love. And there's always humor. And there's always, a little wink like, yes, you're welcome. I showed up to provide you with this opportunity to learn something about yourself. So, yeah, you're welcome. So it's nice when you can be in that place before you die. Get to walk back into heaven and hug that husband who abused you in your Irish lifetime. Thank you so much. It was great. I learned a lot. That was really funny. Okay, does anybody else want a card at the moment? Feeling like it's kind of a quiet and gentle energy here today. I just love it. Okay, so next time I give a reading, I will be a little bit more organized in my intention about teaching the cards. And it is really to offer classes where we do a Zoom session, and it's super easy because I have a Zoom account now. And yeah, it is. Thank you. It is beautiful. And that's thanks to all of you. You guys have created this container. But it's really fun when it's one-on-one or just two people because so many insights come through and you get to just kind of, I don't know, whenever people come together, new life is born, new knowledge, new insights are born. So anyway, I'm going to throw a couple more cards for everybody. Go ahead, feel free to ask me, a high-level complicated question or something really, really basic. Like if you're brand new to the cards, ask me the most basic question you've got. Like, what's really eating at you right now that you don't know? Or like, what are you trying to figure out? Or did you just meet someone who is a certain card and you're learning something? Or let me ask you this. How are you with your Pluto card? Okay, so here's your card. Say you're the 2 of diamonds. Your Pluto card is the Ace of Hearts. You always go diagonal down to the left. That's the descending Pluto. And that person or that energy, according to Pluto legend, is going to be really triggering for you. So for the 5 of Spades, if I still have 2 of you, that would be the 4 of clubs. So energetically, that would be get really defined and limited in your thinking. Go ahead and limit your thinking. Now, the Nine of Hearts is your Venus, a Nine of Clubs. So you're like, I'm open at the top. I'm always learning. I'm never going to just say, I know for sure, because I'm always learning. It's an ongoing thing. That's the beauty of the Nine of Clubs. But the Four of Clubs is challenging you. Okay, like when you meet a Four of Clubs, it tends to be more, do you get a sense of, oh, what a relief to be in this person's energy? Or do you get triggered because they're so limited? And you're like, hey, but are you also being asked to commit yourself to a certain belief? Or say, yeah, I own up to the fact that this is my belief system. But anyway, I have a sister-in-law who's the Six of Hearts, my Pluto card, and also a bestie. And those were two very harmonious relationships for decades. And then all of a sudden, right in the same kind of 2-year period of time, all this friction came up. And it became very, very triggering. And I just kind of stepped away from both relationships, sorted it all out within myself. And then there was just a real shift after that in the relationships. So it's like I got the assignment, and maybe it has something to do with where Pluto is in your astrological chart. Does it challenge you? Is it a particularly difficult placement? I mean, it's going to be difficult no matter how you place it, but I think that when you've done the work of Pluto, it's more of a destiny card. It can kind of show you a direction that you're supposed to go in. Or it's like once you've died and been reborn, it's like maybe that Pluto card is about the butterfly and what's supposed to take wing. So let's throw another card for everyone in general for the energies of today and tomorrow. Hey, yes, I'm still alive, soul knowledge. Yep, we're going on 42 minutes, so we haven't even hit the hour yet. This is for everybody. Happy Tuesday. Learn something today. Ace of Clubs is the card of self-knowledge. Let's all take a moment. So this is the meditation card. This is the single-pointed awareness card. This is Buddhism in the esoteric. This is I am. It's paired with the Two of Hearts, and I think of those two cards, Two of Hearts and Ace of Clubs, as being about intimacy, in a word. And the Two of Hearts is about a relationship, and the Ace of Clubs is about knowing. So let's just take a moment within ourselves individually to just breathe into the presence of the divine within. Just know that every cell in your body has consciousness. Your DNA is infinitely intelligent. It has the fingerprint of God on it. Every cell is vibrating to the truth, and just let that be right now. Every cell in your body is an antenna that is in alignment with the frequency of the divine, unless you're interfering with it. So just let go and allow yourself to be in alignment. That was lovely. Soul says, I have a Six of Hearts today. So Six of Hearts. Soul knowledge. Is this the Two of Spades? Yeah, what's your card? You're saying that your daily card today is the Six of Hearts. So you have that app and you look at your daily card. I just never got much out of that. Every once in a while it would be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yes, you are the Two of Spades. So Ray, that's your name, right? Yes. So that's because you have a karma card and a Mars relationship to the Six of Spades, and you have the Six of Clubs in your hand. You are very well acquainted with six energy. In fact, two energy and six energy are very similar, very compatible, very balanced, because two is practically an odd number because it's one and one. 6 is both, I consider, to be an odd and an even number. I just energetically, that's what I get from that number. So there's this kind of lovely balance and integration with the 2 and the 6. And I see you as a 2, having a 6 energy, just being like, okay. And a lot of other numbers will look at a 6 and go, how do I navigate this? How do I just let go into it? How do I say yes to what I signed up to? Is there karma? Do I have to pay for something right now? And the 2 just looks at that 6 and goes, okay, like, there it is. It's just on your path. Yeah. So, what else? Does anybody else want a card, or do you have a question, or what should we talk about? I'm just feeling kind of blank right now. Yeah, my energy isn't super, super like, I've been really good till about, I don't know, like a day ago. I gave myself permission. I've been listening to Abraham, and I've been giving myself permission to just try out being happy for a while. Just try it. Like cajoling myself into like, be happy for no reason. Just completely let go of concern and worry. And I was like there for 2 days. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait, I don't know if I should be happy. And I have to figure out how to just cajole myself back into being happy. Ray and Alicia, right? She's the king of diamonds. Yes, you are. And she should be familiar with 6 energy too. 6 and Mars are also very compatible because they both are about work. Oh, your wife's birthday's tomorrow. Right. Okay, not only is it President Lincoln's birthday, it's somebody else. Okay, this is going to sound ridiculous and so tangential, but you know, John Adams, the second president, his wife Abigail, that fantastic HBO series, we're most of the way through that. So I had to look up everyone's birthday and look at all their karmic relationships, and it's actually really fascinating. And then I went all the way down to, okay, so we have like 1 or 2 more presidents. Yeah. Um, Thomas Jefferson and then Madison, whose wife was Dolly Madison, who made all the baked goods. And then John Quincy Adams, his oldest son, John Adams' oldest son. Well, his wife's birthday is February 12th. All of that just to tell you, John Quincy Adams' birthday is February 12th. King is your planetary ruler. Because you're a Scorpio, you're Nine of Spades and King of Diamonds. That's a really potent little bundle of cards, Bobby. Wow. So yeah, I would say that you have very balanced energy of flexibility, moving forward, curiosity, openness, the solidity of the spade, the power of the King of Diamonds, and the King of Diamonds is actually very people centered. It reaches out, it's very connective. 3 of clubs under it is like, and when I say under, I mean like under, like sub, you know. Yeah, isn't that cool? So, and I was thinking that Ace of Spades and King of Diamonds, you know, they're next to each other in the spiritual spread. So the Ace of Spades is a very powerful, relevant, potent card for you. It's, you know, according to this, it's your Mercury card. It's your descending Mercury, or it's your ascending moon in the spiritual spread. So how does the Ace of Spades, knowing that you're a very solid individual, you've carved out your identity, you're secure with yourself, and you have a sense of knowing the secret formula of life. As an ascending moon card, that would feel like the secret that you have in your back pocket that just gives you a slightly straighter spine. Yes. Happy birthday to both of you. Maybe I should come on tomorrow and just talk about the King of Diamonds. We don't talk about the King of Diamonds enough. I don't think I've ever talked about the King of Diamonds. Let's talk about the King of Diamonds. So the first thing I always do is I look at the spiritual spread and their planetary intersection. Okay, because they're in this the Jupiter line, what I always think of as this spine that runs up through the middle of the spread. If you look at each one of these cards and you think of these people that you might know, there is a quality to each one of them that is really positive. Oh, it's the reward card to the Ace of Spreads and the life spread. Thanks for pointing that out, Brenda. That is very cool. Okay, King of Diamonds, Ace of Spades. Right. So you have the Ace of Spades up here, and you go Mercury, Venus, blah, 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 Pluto is the King of Hearts. And then I call it Jupiter plus. Just in a simple way, it's kind of a big positive thing. Yeah. So it's an achievement as well as something that's just sort of intrinsic to their nature. And I would say all the King of Diamonds I know do have a very solid sense of self, as does the Seven of Spades, which I think comes from the King of Diamonds. So your son is an Ace of Spades and your daughter is a Six of Clubs. Oh, that always happens. It's just like we get this little nexus going. Okay, so the King of Diamonds sits in vertical Jupiter, horizontal Uranus. So they're innovative and optimistic about their innovations. That is just so true of them. I'm getting tired of these glasses. I want another shape. Okay, how about these round ones? Does that make me look a little more friendly and feminine? Yeah. Okay. So innovation. Do you resonate with that? I think the King of Diamonds is so good at sort of just going with the machinery of whatever they're involved in, making it work for other people, that they can lose sight of their own brilliance, that Uranus energy that's like, hey, what if I did it my way? What if I did my own thing? What if I was the king in my own kingdom? Maybe I started my own business, or I took a little more authority over, hey, I know something that is unconventional or that no one else knows, or it could change the way we do things. Am I right? Does that resonate? Bobby, what ethnic origin is Bujicic? Am I right that it's Dutch? It sounds like a Michigan name, which is where I'm from, the Dutch capital of the States. My grandson is a Seven of Spades. His dad is the Ace of Spades. Wow. Yep, Ace of Spades day. What card is best to utilize for new business ventures or business career decision? Oh, Slavic. Am I saying it right? I like to say it. Bujicic. Or is it Bujicic? Best to utilize for new business ventures. Okay, so when you say utilize, is choosing a card would be like choosing a day or a moment. I've been practicing my Scottish for when that Scottish guy comes back on alive. So I don't sound like groundskeeper Willie. When it comes to choosing a card for something, and maybe it's just my personality, but I just can't do that. I just kind of work with what's there. So I could help you figure out how to work best with a particular card that's presenting. But I don't know, time and life just kind of has a way of throwing you what is the right thing, the perfect thing for you to work with. So, oh yeah, no worries. I love your questions. So a little bit more about the King of Diamonds. They have to wear this outfit in this lifetime, where they're Mars, Venus. And this is where their skillfulness with people comes in. That's why I call them the cheerleader. They have a ton of like emotional generosity that they want and need to pour into those around them. They need to. The Mars energy is like, it's kind of like their soul has bigger fish to fry. But they find themselves, this is kind of how it feels to me. They find themselves kind of in a, it's like the royalty that doesn't know that the royalty, like either they had their mind wiped or they were, like a Harry Potter situation or something. That's one of the really strong stories in the collective is I don't know my own station. I hate that word because, it implies a class society, but, I don't know my own royalty or what I'm capable of. And I think King of Diamonds, I think that happens to them. And they find themselves really, really engaged with people. And I think maybe it's part of their karma because of that Seven of Spades that sits in their position that has a tendency to be judgmental or self-righteous. And it's like, when you know you're pretty special, eventually it goes to your head and then you can get really judgy about everybody else. And I don't experience King of Diamonds that way. I mean, maybe you have this secret judgmentalism that I don't know about. And if I did, if I was able to listen to you really go off on somebody, it would probably be really funny. it'd be really good because you're naturally insightful. You get people. Okay, so here you are in this Mars line with all these little clubs marching, marching, marching on. You're marching. Sharina, you're an Ace of Spades. Oh, this is awesome. So I'm just going to key you in here. We're talking about the King of Diamonds because it's right next to it, and they have this intense relationship. And tomorrow's the King of Diamonds, and two people here. It's their birthday tomorrow. So, yeah, if you want to know more about the Ace of Spades, you'll probably have to go back somewhere in the video. Um, but yeah, they're and I'm saying this kind of unintentionally, tongue in cheek. They're a mystery. Ace of Spades are kind of a mystery. And I think the King of Diamonds kind of have that sense of, what am I not seeing here? What am I missing? Aren't they like a one-eyed king? So they can have, okay, the King of Hearts does not have one eye, it has two, and it sits right next to them. So they need to rely on their heart more than their head. Wow, the King of Clubs has two eyes too. Yep, the King of Diamonds is the only one-eyed king. So they do tend to have kind of a blind spot. And I think this is part of their karma, this chastening, this humility that they have to go through. And with that King of Hearts sitting right next to them in their moon position, they're going to be better informed about everything if they just listen to their hearts. What is their emotional truth? Despite the fact that you're all clubs underneath. And that tends to really, really work for you, is to be in your head. Okay, Sharina, I attract many diamond men. Yeah, that's exactly why. I never thought about that. Oh, righteous, you're Alicia, aren't you? And you resonate with what I just said about you, right? That's what I'm guessing all that little bling is for. So yes, the reason that you attract tons of King of Diamonds men is because in the spiritual spread, they're right next to you. So if you look descending and go this way, they're your moon cards. So there's a natural affinity, a sense of security. Oh, go ahead and hit that like button. Someone else usually says that in the thingy. So I'll say it myself because I noticed some people actually liked it. Usually don't notice or don't care. Yay, we're up to 5 likes. Okay. And in an ascending hand, the King of Diamonds would be your communication style, which is a very kind of far reaching. So King of Diamonds as a communication style would be, what's the most important thing here for everyone? That's what a king would ask. How do I need to take care of the kingdom? What's the priority? What is the most valuable thing? How can we enrich everybody? So as an Ace of Spades, do you resonate with that energy? Like when you're really firing on all cylinders and you feel really good about yourself? Yeah, Alicia just gave me a thumbs up by saying yes, indeed. It would seem to me that you at times feel like you have a much more accurate and broad vision than those around you, which must be really frustrating sometimes. Because you are cosmic lifetime reward card to each other in the mundane spread, as Brenda so cleverly observed and figured out. It's this distance right here. Doop, doop, doop. I should think being an Ace of Spades, being able to be in a position like that would be very liberating, like to be the CEO of something and say, okay, we're going to enact my visions here. I mean, one of my favorite Ace of Spades of all time is, I hope I say his name right, Gurdjieff, the mystic of Armenia. And what was the book that he wrote? Like, he's just one of those geniuses that I will probably never read his book. It's just like, but you just know he's tapped into the esoteric fabric of the universe and has figured out some things. Okay. You're too aware. It's rough sometimes. Yeah. So that's the relationship between the King of Diamonds and the Ace of Spades. I had a feeling I was going to be talking about that pairing for some reason. What would it be like? So what's the vibration like, Sharina, between you and the diamond male? So diamond men tend to resonate with their king earlier in life, and club males tend to identify with the jack longer, because jacks or clubs represents adolescence. Diamonds represent adulthood. So a diamond male will be a little bit more serious, unless he's a jack, in which case my son is the jack of diamonds. He'll always have a little mischief about him. And he'll be able to just keep it light, which is wonderful. It's a wonderful combination. But he's able to be totally responsible. Like about 2 or 3 years after he'd been doing his own business, he was like describing to me how he went about paying taxes, which probably we won't have to be doing for very much longer. And I always knew this. I told him someday you're not going to have to pay taxes. And but he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I da 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 da," and then I da 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 da, and I have this software, and I did, and I was like, "What?" Like he'd grown up while I wasn't looking. Yes, Bobby, I do too. I've heard somebody say some real shit about the Jack of Diamonds because they probably ran into some really naughty, irresponsible Jack of Diamonds. But I think they're great. The female Jack of Diamonds, I think, have a very difficult path. I think it's very difficult for Jack of Diamonds women to fit into, what am I supposed to be here? I mean, one thing I've noticed is that they do tend to be very funny. They can be very light-hearted, but there's just this, I think it's because the Jack of Diamonds and the Queen of Diamonds are so different, and they have to be the Queen of Diamonds too. There's always some kind of lessons with diamond men, always about letting go of the connection in the end, which is more compatible with us Ace of Spades. I would say heart. I would say heart men, just because, and usually I don't, okay, what we would do is look at the Queen of Spades and how she's related to various cards. I would say clubs are also very good because the Queen of Spades has the King of Clubs. Oh, is it Saturn? So she's got Jack of Clubs in Mercury, so she can communicate really well with a guy who's kind of immature or playful or youthful. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. King of Clubs will teach you lessons. They'll challenge you, which is important for a spade woman to be challenged, right? So why is the King of Diamonds a problem? Because they're Mars to you. The King of Diamonds here sits under your Mars card. So here's where the Queen of Spades sits. Mercury, Venus, Mars. Okay, so from here, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. There's a Uranus connection. So it's like, it was fun while it lasted, but not really reliable. So I think intuitively when I said hearts, it's because there are all these hearts under your hand. So you're really tapped into heart energy. And this King of Hearts here is Uranus to you here. So you might have kind of a similar experience with that. But the Jack, Mercury, Venus, Mars, is your Jupiter. The Jack of Hearts is Jupiter. And heart males, I wouldn't say that they live in the Jack as much. But there is okay, I take that back. Heart males do have a tendency to kind of whine. Not all of them. And sometimes they've honed it to an art where it's actually very amusing to listen to them whine. My brother, King of Hearts, he's just an illustrious person. He's very mature. He's amazing, very gracious. But when he whines, it's anyway. Yeah, my husband. He's the 3 of clubs and the 9 of hearts, and man, he really does have that. Everyone's against me. It hurt my finger. No, it's never injuries. He's a Trojan when it comes to physical injuries, but like he can be a victim of the customer service person on the phone. They can be a victim of them. It's like one day I just said, so mad at him. You're such a victim. Which is so offensive, isn't it? It's just such an offensive thing for someone to say, stop being such a victim. So your Saturn card is the King of Hearts. Okay, so Bobby, tell me, is that true? Do you whine sometimes? Are you a whiner? I don't really know. Okay, the other 5 of spades. If Green Knight, if you're still with us, answer that honestly. Are you kind of a whiner sometimes? Do you feel like you're called to emotional maturity? Like, yeah, 100%. 400%. They keep telling me I need to grow up. I just don't really want to. This is really interesting. Okay. So do we want to talk more about the King of Diamonds? I love them. I don't think I've ever met one that I didn't like, but the one that I know, no, she's the King of Hearts. They're very similar, the King of Hearts and King of Diamonds. The female King of Hearts will be potentially martyrs. I mean, give, to the point of just exhausting themselves because that they head up the Mars line, and the Mars line is what's next, very pragmatic, practical. The King of Diamonds have a special feature. Okay, it is the Jack of Spades. For anyone in the Mars line, ask where. Yeah, Bobby loves them too. I haven't met a heart man yet, but my best friend, she's a 4 of hearts. I'll keep this in mind when dating, and I guess avoiding diamond men. I'm just too attracted to them. Find a Jack of Diamonds. Find one that's born on the 4th of July or Valentine's Day, or, there's a bunch of other. Yeah, and see if you like them better, because, like, they can be serious, but they're fun. I don't know. It's just an idea. Plus, you have, let's see, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter. Oh, never mind. It's a Saturn connection to your Ace of Spades. Yeah, I would say look for the heart. So the secret sauce, the special thing about the King of Diamonds, you have to ask if you're in this Mars line. I feel like a little teacher. If you're in the Mars line, find out where the Jack of Spades sits for you. Oops. The Jack of Spades is your wild card. It is the wild card. So because the King of Diamonds has it in what class? Anyone? They have it as their Jupiter card. It means the woo, they can use the woo to their advantage. I noticed this with the King of Diamonds, the one that I was really close to for a long time. And now he's just out of my life, and it's kind of sad, but cosmic lesson for you. Yeah, that can be a little tough. That means, okay, so the world might get turned inside out and upside down, and like it doesn't make sense anymore. It's in those moments that Jack of Spades is really challenging you to find your way intuitively and spiritually and go deeper and just like take on the archetype of the Joker, leap off that cliff and trust. I would guess that's how that is for you, Bobby. Okay, but being Jupiter for the King of Diamonds, it means that they don't really have to know very much in the way of shamanism and, you know, all of that kind of stuff and manifesting, but it works for them. Like they just like he would dip his toe into these principles without knowing it, and he'd make them work. Like he was a professional bike racer for a while, this bicycle, and they called him they called him Buddha. Like he was the lead on their team, and they called him Buddha because he would just, yeah. So anyway, but they will have a karmic relationship, an intense relationship. Okay, what is up with the word karma? I usually don't use that word, and I've used it like 6 times. They'll have a very intense, yes, Jack of Hearts month. Yes, we are. January, February, February. Oh, is it? I thought that would be March. It would be Queen of Spades this month, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know how you're figuring that, but kind of feels like that. Kind of like, how do I read the situation? It feels like, I don't know. Okay, so the 8 of clubs is Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. So it means that they're going to have, I'll just go ahead and say it, karmic entanglements with the circle of 7. All of them. Whenever you see a circle of 7, or as Robert Camp calls them, the fixed and semi-fixed cards, those 7 cards. When one of them is in your hand, it applies to all of them. So you will have as a king of diamonds, you will have a Saturn connection with the 7 of diamonds, the 2 of hearts, the Jack of hearts, you know. You'll also have a Neptune connection with the 7 of diamonds. We definitely had that, me and my king of diamonds buddy. It was dreamy. We saw the best in each other. I became conscious of this, and I was like, I need someone to see me that way. At that point in my life, I needed someone to see me through rose-colored glasses, which was kind of like a divine, like if you've ever actually looked through rose-colored glasses, everything is really beautiful. And I'm like, well, maybe it's just like a heaven filter. Like maybe that's a thing. Okay, so we're over an hour now. I will take a couple more questions. I am so glad we talked about the King of Diamonds because I frigging love them. Okay, what's their Pluto card? The 10 of Hearts. It's in groups that they will be really, really sanded down, kind of chastened in a way, challenged to really like test their mettle and figure out who they are. Okay, Queen of Spades. Huh. Brenda, can you put that in a comment? Queen of Spades for January. I would think January was the King of Spades. And since there's 12 months and 12 court cards, that's the way it would go. But I don't know. We just kind of have to give way to the fact that we're in the Gregorian calendar. You know, I know it sucks, but you know, it's where the cards live. I'm manifesting to get a personal reading from you. Oh, I don't know the rest of my chart, and I only know I'm a July 1 Ace of Spades. Grateful for your knowledge, and I love these lives that you gift us. Oh, I do gift them to you. It's because I love you, and I love talking about this, and this is just so much fun. Yeah, I'm really glad you did too. Brenda, are you fucking with me? I think Brenda's fucking with me. I just got it. Sorry. Brenda, what's your card again? I'm a diamond. I am serious. I need to be fucked with. Seriously. Yes, it does come from my heart. So Sharina, we can talk about like a sliding scale totally. Like I'm only gonna tell Sharina this so nobody else listen, okay? Even though my sliding scale is 120 to 180 an hour, I have a student rate that's 60 an hour for like really special students. Like there are some people that I've been reading for so long that I just can't bring myself to raise their rate to my current rates because like I don't know, it's a thing. Oh, you're the King of Diamonds. Okay, yes. All right. My Neptune card. What are we? Nothing there. Oh, you would be my descending Uranus from the 9 of Hearts, or from in the spiritual spread. Yes, Uranus, perfect. Yeah, your Uranus card would play jokes on you and totally fuck with you. That makes total sense. Okay. But yeah, it's I want you to get a reading if that's what you want. I can't do it for nothing, but I can do it for pretty close to nothing. We could even just do a half hour. Okay, one more card for everybody, and thank you for your time and attention. 3 of diamonds. Versatility with money. Okay, even though this might not make sense to you guys, I got an image in my mind of the 3 of diamonds because there's no directionality to these, and usually the pips are moving away from each other with the other 3s, so it's about expansion. I think of this as non-judgment, laying your cards on the table, listening, taking in what's around you without judgment, including how you feel today. Okay, I love you guys. Bobby, it was really fun meeting you. I'm so glad you're here, you Slavic fella. Where are you from? Where do you live? Ah! And do we have any foreigners here? Foreigner. Are you a foreigner? Okay, I guess I'm done. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will try. I always say this, and I'm going to apologize for saying it before I say it, but I will try really hard to get back here again before the end of the week. I really need to be on here on a regular basis. Okay, so New York City? Is New York City the king of diamonds? That would be interesting, right? If you knew the card of the town that you lived in, and it would probably be based on like the charter or something like that. I don't know. Okay, well, have a great day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, bye.